Before this video starts, I have to quickly mention that I completely forgot to explain what actually makes a weapon good overall in the first place. So if you don't know the basic things of what makes a weapon good, read the description before watching the video if you need to. But yeah, enjoy the video. Yo, hello everyone. Today I'm gonna make an updated 2026 Mordhau weapon tier list. In the pinned comment, there will be timestamps for each weapon, except for the peasant weapons, because I've already made them. Can't be asked to talk about them. No one cares about them. But before you go click on timestamps, if you don't want to listen to the entire video, which is gonna be pretty long, then at least listen to the intro, because if you want to understand why I put the weapons in the tier that I put them. So like I said, this is gonna be an updated 2026 tier list. It will also be different from my two other previous tier lists, because this one is gonna be an overall tier list. So this tier list will look at the three main game modes of Mordhau. The first one is frontline / invasion. The other one is duels, aka 1v1, and the last one is SKM / teamfight. So the way this tier list is gonna work is that if a weapon is broken in every single game mode, all of those three, frontline, duels, skirmish, then the weapon will be in the S tier. If the weapon is strong in every game mode, just strong, it will be in the A tier. If a weapon is in the B tier, it's likely that this weapon is only strong for one of the game modes, and then much weaker in the other game modes. And if a weapon is in the C tier, it means that the weapon is okay, but it's being overshadowed by much stronger options. And the D tier is basically just a meme in peasant weapons. Apart from the Sledgehammer is like the only peasant weapon that's even worth talking about. Yeah. So let's just get started. Oh, and by the way, this tier list has the Scimitar. The last tier list, they did not have the Scimitar, so I didn't even talk about the Scimitar in the other tier list. So I'm sorry to those two or three Scimitar mains out there, if they even exist. I don't know if anyone even plays this weapon at all. So the first weapon, it's gonna be the Executioner Sword. Now this tier list, it does have like it shows weapon skins and not the default skin, so this could probably get a bit confusing, but I have almost 5,000 hours in Mordhau. I know the weapon skins, okay? But who even made this tier list? Hot Cell. Shout out to this guy who made this one. Because I tried to find one that had the Scimitar in it. But yeah. The Executioner Sword is gonna be the first weapon to talk about here. This weapon is obviously in the S tier. It might even be the strongest weapon in the entire game right now. This weapon is pretty underrated. Well, underrated. It is S tier. Everyone knows it's S tier. But I don't think people understand just how easy it is to swing man it with this weapon. I don't know what's up with this weapon, but it has always had like, it's always felt like this weapon has just had like easier swing manip and easier excels than every other weapon. But this weapon is broken in every single game mode because it has a lot of range. It two-shots any armor. It has good stamina drain. Its animations are pretty scuffed. And overall, its stats are just pretty insane. And it's surprising that this weapon is in the S tier, even though this weapon can't combo. This weapon can combo. It doesn't have the ability, but yeah, it doesn't even need it. Like, the weapon is just good at literally everything and good in every single game mode. So yeah. This is the training, so I'm just gonna put it there. Warhammer. I think most almost every single one-handed weapon in this game, they all share the same strengths and weaknesses. Almost all of them. And most one-handed weapons, they are shit in every single game mode. They are, of course, playable. I mean, you can use one-handed weapons in any game mode you want and do okay. But most one-handed weapons in the game, they have low damage. They have no stamina drain. They have no range. The only strength that they have is that they're fast. Fast wind up, fast release, whatever. So yeah, most of them are gonna be in C tier. But just because a weapon is in the C tier, it doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. I mean, it's playable. All you can technically do well with all weapons here, but some are just better than others. Next up is the spear, and the spear will go right now to the top of B tier. This weapon is, in my opinion, the best weapon in frontline. If all you care about is KD, kills, assists, this weapon, if you know how to play it right, this is the strongest weapon in frontline. Granted that you stick near your teammates at all times, so you can like switch and everything. This weapon has the strongest switching potential in the game because it has the longest reaching stabs. And it has okay damage as well on the stabs. The stabs can two-shot light and medium armor in the body. Unfortunately, though, it falls off because it's bad in duels. You don't ever see anyone play this weapon in duels. The old mode on the spear is the mode you want to pick if you're in a 1v1. It makes duels playable with it, but you'll probably never ever see anyone main this weapon in duels or ever play it in duels, unless your name is a Stormtrooper or something. He's like the only player that I know. Yeah, but in 5v5 SKM and in frontline, this weapon is almost top tier, and that's why it's gonna probably be at the top of B tier for the rest of the tier list, I think. The Falchion is probably... Okay, this is actually a tough one. The Falchion is actually not that bad for a one-handed weapon, because it has pretty good feints. Good stats, except for reach. Low range, but its swingman is actually pretty okay. And combined with good mores and good feints as well. I think I will actually put the Falchion either at the top of C tier or bottom of B tier. The Falchion falls off where with its range, so I'm gonna leave it at the C tier for now. But the weapon is actually perfectly usable in both duels and in teamfight. I probably wouldn't use this weapon in frontline, but yeah, I think it's gonna be at the top of C tier. Short sword will be at the bottom of C tier. I don't think I need to say much. It just has overall low stats. Now we have the Billhook. This weapon is pretty strong. It definitely goes in A tier. This weapon is good in every single game mode. It has okay slashes. It has pretty good stabs. In frontline, it has the gimmick where you can dismount people on a horse if you hit them with the Billhook. It even has good morphs and feints as well. And it's okay fast, so it doesn't really excel in anything specifically, it's just overall a strong weapon. Evening Star, definitely an S tier. It's a 2-hit to kill weapon with okay range. It can still combo, and it has 21 stamina drain. If a weapon has more than 19 stamina drain, that is really strong for duels. So you will most likely see this weapon in teamfight and in duels. Because it kills in 2 hits in the body. Really good stamina drain. only overshadowed by the stamina drain from the Maul and the Sledgehammer. And it's not only is it a broken weapon, but it's also my favorite to-hit-to-kill weapon in the game. It's the most fun to-hit-to-kill weapon to play. It just feels good playing it. And the Evening Star has always remained one of the most broken weapons in the game, no matter how many nerfs this weapon ever received. But yeah, this weapon basically doesn't have any weaknesses, not that I know of. So yeah, is it better than Exec though? It's almost, they almost do the same thing. The Exec can combo. It's a sharp weapon that can combo. Sorry. The Evening Star is a blunt weapon that does have the ability to combo. So like, I think it just depends on which one of these you find most enjoyable. Do you prefer blunt weapons? Do you prefer being able to combo, or do you want to have the ability to cleave? Because, as you know, sharp weapons in this game, they cleave through players, while blunt weapons, they only cleave if you kill someone on hit. On normal hit, it doesn't cleave. Zweihander, also one of the most broken weapons in the entire game. I would say the Zweihander's probably... It's better than Evening Star, in my opinion. But is it better than Exec? It's basically like a slightly longer execution sword that has a good stab and has the ability to combo. The only thing that's bad about the Zweihander is that its feints are weaker than the Evening Star and the Execution Sword. But it has some of the highest range in the game and can combo. I think the Zweihander is slightly better in frontline and invasion. And the Zweihander can two-hit-to-kill if you hit 2 headshots on a tier 3 body. I'll put the Zweihander in the top of S tier for now. And now we have the Sledgehammer. This is an interesting one. This is the only peasant weapon that doesn't go in D tier. The only thing this weapon is good for is duels. But if we were talking about the weapon itself, I would probably put it very high tier in duels. Probably at the top of B tier. Unfortunately, though, you can only play this weapon with Peasant, so... And with Peasant, you don't have any armor. So basically, I think... The only strength this weapon has is like... It has, I believe, 24 stamina drain. Or is it higher than that? I actually don't remember, but it has the highest stamina. It has even higher stamina drain than Maul, so... Basically, with this weapon, you only have to hit your opponent's parry like 3 or 4 times before they start to get outstand fully. But it doesn't have the ability to combo, and it doesn't have a lot of range. It has even less range than the Maul, I think. And you have to go Peasant, so... It's not even that strong in duels, to be honest, because you have to go Peasant. It does go into B tier if it doesn't get counterpicked, but you can easily just counterpick it with a Zweihander so that you one-shot your opponent most of the time. I'll put it in C tier for now. Maybe above Falchion? I'll put it here. Or will I? No, I'll put it there. Okay, finally, the Scimitar. I didn't tier list this weapon the last tier list, so hopefully now the Scimitar mains will be happy, if they even exist. But unfortunately though, the Scimitar goes in C tier, right below the Falchion. Only below the Falchion because I believe it has less damage than the Falchion. It does have the gimmick where it does more damage to light armor, but bro, not many people play light armor. Yeah, but just like every other one-handed weapon in the game, it lacks damage, it lacks range. But it's basically almost as strong as the Falchion, if you ask me. You can definitely play this weapon if you enjoy using it. Greatsword will go. Will it go in A tier? Actually, oh my god, I actually don't know. The Greatsword is good in every single game mode, but will I say it's strong in every game mode? The Greatsword can do everything. It has okay range, free hit to kill. It has okay slash and okay stab. It falls off hard in duels because it only has 19 stamina drain. So, I don't know if I'd say... Oh, it might be at the top of B tier, actually. Either that or... Nah, I think... It is good in every single game mode. Frontline, duels, SKM. It will be at the very bottom of A tier. The very bottom. Polehammer. Oh my god. Okay, this is the strongest weapon in the entire game right now, and it has been for years. This weapon, it's not good if you riposte with it, but if you play this weapon neutral, at least for duels, neutral, this weapon is the most impossible weapon to read in the entire game. Basically, if you don't know what neutral means, it's basically every time you're not in combo or taking a riposte, when you just input an attack in the open without riposting. And if you do this with neutral overheads, this weapon straight up becomes impossible to read. There's no top player in the game that can react to anything this weapon does in neutral. This weapon is basically rock, paper, scissors. If you just input neutral overhead with this weapon, you can either do a one frame excel with the overhead, with the neutral overhead, or you can choose to drag the overhead, or you can even choose to feint it. And there's no safe option to counter this. If you try to parry, they can hit you with an unreadable neutral feint. If you try to chamber, you will lose over 30-40 stamina if they drag you and you're forced to CFTP. And if you try to read the feint, if you expect the feint, it's of course unreadable and you're gonna get hit by a fucking 0 frame XL. Or a fucking 0 MS red parry or something. But of course, you don't really need to play neutral in frontline. Of course, in frontline you can just riposte and target switch because it has so much range. But it's insane in duels because it has high stamina drain. It two shots any armor. And it's insane for SKM because again it two shots and it has insane switching potential. And for duels, it's if you abuse neutral, you can even go 50-50 against a player like me. If you have no combo experience, if you only have like 1,000 hours on the game and all those 1,000 hours are in frontline or in a noob duel yard, you can even get a bunch of kills on me by abusing neutral if you know how to do it right. But please, bro, if you're watching this video and you want to play Polehammer because of this, please don't do it. It's shit game design. It is terrible game design. It's the only weapon in the game that is this broken in neutral. Actually, any weapon in the S tier, except for the Zweihander maybe, is broken in neutral, but the Polehammer excels at it. But please don't abuse neutral. Just play Polehammer normally if you're gonna play the Polehammer. Unless you only care about winning. If you only care about winning, well, just play rock, paper, scissors if you're against a player that you can't beat. The Longsword, it's very similar to the Greatsword, to be honest. It's like the Greatsword, but it has slightly worse swing mana. Sorry, not slightly worse swing mana. It has slightly less range, but slightly better feints and morphs. Basically, if you main Greatsword and you like to swing man it a lot, but you also like to mix up a lot with feints and morphs, as much as you like swing maniping, I think Longsword is the better weapon for you to pick. Greatsword is the better weapon in SKM, while Longsword is the better option in duels. Unless you like to swing maniping mostly, then I would say go for the Greatsword over the Longsword. Sorry, I have hiccups right now. Alright, yeah. The Partisan B tier, just like this. It's very similar to the Spear. It's 2 hit to kill with the stab in tier 3 body, which is absolutely insane. But it's even worse than the Spear in duels. Its slashes are non-existent, and its stabs are slow. Like, really slow wind-up. A lot of potential to stab drag though, but still. It's very similar to the Spear. Just a 2-shotting Spear. I think, if you ask me, the Partisan is probably better in teamfight, while the Spear is better in frontline. That's probably how I'm gonna rank them. Granted, though, that the Spear is 2 hit to kill. Considered to be 2 hit to kill. So maybe if you're playing in a tournament or a pug where you're not allowed more than 2 hit to kills on team, just pick the Spear instead. In like a 5v5. But if not, then the Partisan, it's a strong red weapon, like the Maul. The Bardiche, my favorite weapon in the entire game. Literally good at everything. It is literally just a battle axe, but it's a battle axe with better stats in every single way. Better stamina drain, better damage, better reach. There's no reason to ever play battle axe over Bardiche if you only care about the stats. It's literally just a stronger battle axe. That's all the Bardiche is. But it's definitely an A tier weapon. Very fucking strong dual weapon, very strong skirmish weapon, and very strong frontline weapon. Honestly, I'll put it higher than the Billhook. It's really good. I believe that the only weapon stronger than the Bardiche in the A tier is gonna be the Poleaxe, in my opinion. Okay, next weapon, Estoc. Estoc, very fucking unpopular weapon. No one plays this weapon. You never see this weapon in frontline, duels, skirmish, comp. You don't see it anywhere. But surprisingly, it is a really good weapon. Basically, it's like it has very low turn cap on both its stabs and its swings. Its stab can actually two hit to kill in the tier 3 head. And it almost costs no points in your build, so you can have like second win, acrobat, stun, all the stamina perks if you want to duel. But this weapon is just like a spear in duel. It's just a cheese weapon if you use it in duels. This weapon excels in teamfight and frontline. The only problem with it though is just that it's just there are better options. The weapon is very overshadowed by other stab weapons like the spear, short spear, bastard sword. But where would I actually put it? I wouldn't. It's not in the A tier. I would say it's in the B tier. Probably, I'll put it right here for now. To be honest. Okay, Warhags. Warhags. Very fast 2 hit to kill weapon with a weak stab. And if a weapon is 2 hit to kill, it's almost guaranteed to be in the S tier. But there's one problem with the Warhags, and that is its swings have gotten much worse because the servers. If you're not aware and haven't played Mordhau in a long time, today in 2026, the servers are really fucking. They've gotten much worse, and a lot of swings they just phase through. They disappear into thin air. And this has hurt the Warhags a lot because the weapon was already short and hard to hit with if you main swingman it. It's still a good weapon though. It just feels like you're playing casino if you try to drag and excel. I would probably put the weapon right here, actually. But if you want to argue that the weapon is even worse than A tier, I'm not even gonna blame you. I never play Warhammer because the weapon. Well, sometimes I play Warhammer, but only for fun. I would never play this weapon if I actually care about winning, especially in duels. So a good weapon, but it's just heavily nerfed because of bad servers, unstable servers. And this is both like frontline and community servers. It doesn't matter what kind of server you play on. All servers have just gotten much worse in the last years. The heavy Handaxe, honestly, kind of like the heavy Handaxe. In frontline, it has the ability to go into alt mode and repair the structures. It has decent manib, like pretty good swing manib, a good stab. Only problem with it is 0 range and 0. Well, I wouldn't say 0 range. I would honestly say it has like low mid range. And it has a slow wind up. And because it has a slow wind up, that's why it's so good at swing manib. So I will honestly, I think I'll put it in B tier because it's mainly a weapon that you see for frontline. It's a good frontline weapon. But it's not as strong as the spear, so I'll probably have this weapon at the bottom of B tier. The Falks, just like the Estoc, no one knows of this weapon's existence. No one fucking knows what weapon. You probably have never seen this weapon before, and you have like 1,000 hours on Mordhau. But basically, the Falks is a weapon that only has an okay swing with good range, but it has a non-existent stab. The stab is the most useless thing in the game. It does, however, have 20 stamina drain, I believe. Or is it 21? I think it's 20 stamina drain. And I think it also 2-shots in tier 3 head armor, so not the worst stats, but you just never see anyone play this weapon because you can stab with it. And the weapon, I don't know, it looks goofy as well, and it's slow. And there's just much stronger options. But this weapon is good in every single game mode. You can do well with this weapon in frontline, in duels, team fight. So I would say it is in the A tier, in my opinion. It's just in the lower end of A tier. I would probably say it's above. It's definitely above the Greatsword, but not any further than stronger than the Greatsword. Rapier, C tier. Better. Yeah, I'll probably say it's better than the Scimitar. I think the Scimitar has better manip, but the Rapier has better cheese. Insane feigns, really fucking fast combos, and chamber excels. But of course, it has a lot of weaknesses. So I would say it's above. Is it above the Scimitar? I'll put it above the Scimitar, but it's still a C tier weapon. There's just much better options. And basically every other stab spamming weapon is better than the Rapier. The one-handed axe also goes in the C tier. The only thing this weapon has are fast swings. It has a crab stab. A fast stab, but only a 10 damage stab. Probably goes at the bottom for now. Battleaxe. The Battleaxe, a weapon that is only good in every single game mode, but it falls off in that there's just much better options. Especially the Bardiche. Bro, the Bardiche is literally just a better Battleaxe, like I mentioned earlier. I will probably put it. I think I'll put it at the B tier, even though it's not strong in only one game mode. It's okay in every single game mode. It's a really fun weapon to play, but it's just there's just much stronger options. Can I put it, bro? There you go. I'll put it at the top of B tier. It almost goes into the A tier, or should I? Damn, should I actually put it into the A tier? I don't think it makes sense to put this weapon into the A tier, but then again, this is an overall tier list. I'll leave it at the top of B tier. But if you want to put it at the very bottom of A tier, if we're talking about an overall tier list, good for every game mode, then you can leave it at the very bottom of A tier. Arming swords, very similar to the Falchion, but just a slightly worse Falchion. Better than Rapier though. It has better it's easier to feint and has better manip than the Rapier, but the Rapier has faster speed. And I feel like they're almost the same weapon. The Rapier and the Arming Sword, almost the same weapon. But if you do main the Arming Sword, I recommend pairing it up with a Buckler, the one-handed shield. Because if you parry with the Arming Sword, it's such a small weapon that you lose a lot more stamina. But if you pair it up with a Buckler, you don't lose that much stamina. Same with the one-handed axe as well, and the short sword, if you even play those weapons. The cleaver is also a weapon. This weapon would be in the D tier, but because you can pair it up with a Buckler, so you don't lose 69 trillion stamina per parry, this weapon is playable if you pair it up with a Buckler, but I don't think you're gonna see anyone play this in teamfight or frontline, but it is playable in duels if you want to play this with a Buckler. It is playable. Honestly, better than the short sword because it has a good swing, an okay swing. Just don't use its stab though. Its stab is non-existent. It's slow. It does no damage. It doesn't do shit. It literally does 5 damage to tier 3 legs. Yeah. The Maul definitely in the S tier. Probably this weapon is the most broken cheater weapon in the entire game. If you auto parry and you use this weapon, you are unstoppable. There's no killing you. It is not possible. You are straight up invincible. This is basically the cheater weapon. But it also has the highest stamina, second highest stamina drain in the entire game. So if you're dueling people, you don't need to hit them to win. You just need to hit their parry enough times until you outstam them. It also has the infamous one hit to kill, the only weapon in the game that can one-shot tier 3 armor in the head. It used to be probably the best frontline weapon in the game, if not one of them, but now, if you ask me, in my opinion, this weapon has fallen off really hard in frontline, thanks to the servers getting worse. The servers have gotten so much worse, it's so hard to manage with this weapon right now and hit headshots. Honestly, I wouldn't even say you should ever try to land a headshot. Just try to land a hit. Don't go for a headshot. It's the odds of you missing thanks to the shit servers, it's not worth it. So, but of course, even if you don't land a headshot, it has the highest damage in the game on body shot on tier 3 armor. It's still good for frontline, of course. It's arguably the best dueling weapon in the entire game if all you want to do is just make sure you hit your opponent's parry. I would put it... Would I put it above the Exec and the Evening Star? Yeah, honestly, I would put it here, to be honest. But if you want to put it below the Evening Star, that's understandable as well. But it is in the S tier, without a doubt. Actually, because it has fallen off in Frontline, I think I might actually put it down. If the servers didn't get worse, I would put it here. But the fact that Frontline has nerfed this weapon with its servers... I mean, Frontline literally has unstable 30 tick on average, so yeah, it's gonna be 10 times worse than Frontline. So still good, but yeah, that's why I'll move it at the bottom of S for now. Alright, the Poleaxe, the strongest A tier weapon in the game. If you play 5v5 team fight, skirmish, and you don't want to go a 2-shot weapon because either it's against the rules or you want to be you don't want to be a beta like everyone else who plays 2-shot weapons. This is the strongest A tier weapon that's not considered a 2-hit to kill. Its alt mode does, however, have the ability to 2-hit to kill if you land a headshot first. For the most part, if you duel or play teamfight, you want to use the alt mode. It also has the gimmick where if you play in frontline, the alt mode has the ability to repair structures. Or does it? Yeah, I believe it does now, right? It didn't used to have that ability, but it does now, I think. But a lot of people are probably wondering, well, what about the normal mode of the Polehammer? The normal mode is 3-hit to kill for the most part. It is faster wind-up. Faster swings, faster wind-up in general. It can actually throw people off guard a lot, because most people are used to fight against alt mode Polehammer, or Poleaxe, I mean, in dual servers and in teamfight, but I would just recommend using the alt mode. The alt mode is just better for the most part, but if you want to try the normal mode, since it has the ability to cleave and it has faster wind-up, you can definitely make it work. But I just prefer alt mode. Okay, now we have the Bastard. This weapon is one of the most interesting weapons in the entire game. This weapon is really fucking strong for duels. And it's very easy to learn how to play it and abuse it right, to kill almost anyone in the game effortlessly. This weapon only falls off in duels because it has a lot of counterplay. But a lot of players don't know how to counter this weapon properly. This weapon against a top player, like any player in the S tier, can easily shut down this weapon. It won't work if you try to pick this weapon against an S tier player. I mean, sure, you might be able to get a few kills here and there, but they will download it sooner or later. The counterplay to this weapon is either you can just react to its feints, or its more feints, just read it until they're outstamped. And if you can't read it, if you're on an off day and you can't react to any of this weapon's feints, you can just chamber it. All you just need to chamber this weapon at the right time. And you only need to do it once or twice at most, and then you are guaranteed to beat the Bastard player on stamina in a duel. This weapon is pretty mid for frontline and teamfight, but it's the strongest, in my opinion, the strongest one-handed weapon in the game for duels. Only countered by literally the top players. If you are fighting against a top player that is literally, if you're dueling against a player that is literally not a top player, they most likely can't read this weapon if you know how to manipulate the stabs and the morphs as well. But not everyone knows how to play this weapon. You need to be able to abuse the stabs, and you need to be good at morphing and morphing. So for most players, this weapon is gonna be the strongest dueling weapon in the game for the one-handers. But it falls off on an overall tier list because it's bad in SKM and frontline, unfortunately. And also a few years ago, it got the huge buff where its swing is 3-hit to kill. So the stab is just as good as the swing. But for the most part, you need to learn how to abuse the stab. Alright. Mace. One of the only 2-shotting one-handed weapons in the game. There's no point in playing this weapon ever, though, because it doesn't have any range. It has okay manip and it 2-shots tier 3 armor in the body, but like I said, like there's just much better options. If you want a weapon that can 2-hit to kill, pick any weapon in the S tier, almost any weapon in the S tier, or even some of the weapons in the A tier that can sometimes 2-hit to kill. And if you want switching potential and team fight potential, go with any weapon again in the A or S tier. And if you want a weapon that can stomp in frontline / invasion, again, go with a weapon in the B tier to A or S tier. I will probably put this weapon below. Probably below the heavy Handaxe, to be honest. I don't see much use in the Mace. I could also put it at the top of C tier, since it's one of the only one-handers that can two-shot. Am I going too harsh by putting this weapon in the C tier? I think I might be. I'll put it at the B tier. The spear. Wait, this is not the spear. This is the short spear. Okay, the short spear is the best one, in my opinion, the best one-handed weapon overall in the entire game. The short spear is really satisfying to play, has an insane stab that has much more range than it seems, and it can two-shot in the tier 3 head. Its only weakness is that it has a weak slash that barely does any damage. It also doesn't have the ability to combo, but that pretty much doesn't matter because you can combo, or sorry, you can pretty much parry again immediately if you hit someone. Or the fact that this weapon recovers so fucking fast on miss. I think this weapon is like the fastest recovering weapon in the game on miss. So even if this weapon can't combo, it doesn't need it, to be honest. It doesn't need it because it recovers so fast that you almost can't be punished anyway. But you rarely miss because you don't. This is not a swing-minded weapon. This is just a stab spamming weapon, and it's good for every game mode in the game. It's really good for frontline. It's really good for team fight. It might be slightly worse in duels, but you can definitely make it work in duels. In duels, it's like a slightly weaker Bastard Sword, I think. So I would probably put it. I would honestly put the Sword Spear. Would I put it above the Warhammers? I think this weapon has more use than the Warhammers overall in the game. Honestly, I'll put the Short Spear. This might be a hot take, but I genuinely believe the Short Spear deserves to be in the higher side of A tier. The Messer, basically a slightly better Greatsword. At least for duels, it's better than the Greatsword, but it might be slightly worse than SKM. It does have enough range to be okay at switching. So I'll put it. I think I'll put it above Greatsword, just one spot above Greatsword. What's special about the Messer is that it's a weapon that's really fast, and for some reason it has 20 stamina drain. 20 stamina drain, that is more than the Greatsword. The Greatsword only has 19 stamina drain, so it's pretty strong for duels. And because you can have like, it doesn't cost a lot of points, so you can have like all of the stamina perks as well. It just has slightly less range than the Greatsword, which makes it a bit worse for team fight, but overall it's similar to the Greatsword. Just you just want to use this weapon and Greatsword in like 2 separate game modes. So the Halberd is the final weapon, but definitely not the least. The Halberd in old mode is a top tier weapon. Its rival is basically the Zweihander. It can combo, but you trade the ability to combo to get an extra stamina drain and more range than the Zweihander. In my opinion, I think the old mode Halberd is more broken than the Zweihander because the old mode Halberd is a polearm. It has polearm animations, and polearm animations are better than the sword animations. They're just more scuffed and harder to read. Combine that with more range than the Zweihander. It's a longer weapon. It has more stamina drain, which is better for duels. But honestly, if you prefer having the ability to combo, stick with the Zweihander, but I think I see more potential in the old mode. Oh god, sorry. In the old mode Halberd, because it's just fucking. It's just really insane. It also has better feints than the old mode Halberd. It's insane in frontline, insane in duels, insane in team fight. Is it better than the Polehammer though? You could argue it might be better than the Polehammer. But honestly, the Polehammer is just so broken in every single way. I would say all mode Halberd is probably better for frontline, while Polehammer is better for duels and team fight. But of course, you can use the old mode Halberd in any game mode, regardless, and it will be almost just as strong as the Polehammer. But yeah, that was the tier list. I don't know if there's anything else I need to say. But yeah, then again, this will probably be the final tier list I'm ever gonna make for Mordhau. At least when it comes to weapons, I don't think Mordhau will ever receive another balance patch or any. Will it ever receive any patch ever again? I don't know. Mordhau is basically an abandoned game that gets one small patch every year. And at this point, I'm very soon gonna stop playing Mordhau. I'm waiting for Ad Mortem. If you know about Ad Mortem, it's the new up-and-coming melee game made by Gear. Alpha will be in a year, and the full release will be in 1.5 years or 2 years from now. So the moment Ad Mortem comes out, I will quit Mordhau and move on to Ad Mortem and make a lot of content there. Yeah, until then, I will still, I'll probably still make some Mordhau content and stream every single day on twitch.tv. HatcheeT with 2 E's and 2 T's. HatcheeT. So, yeah, if you want to see high-level Mordhau gameplay on my Twitch, go visit it. Go follow. But other than that, if you enjoyed this tier list, make sure to like, subscribe. Even comment if there's something, if you have any questions regarding any of the weapons, any of the placements. If you want to argue that I misplaced some of these weapons, that some weapons shouldn't be in a certain tier, you could tell me why. I will respond. And yeah, thank you so much for watching my tier list. Next, I will probably upload very soon. I'm gonna upload a video talking about Ad Mortem, because there's probably a lot of people who's curious about Ad Mortem, since it's gonna be the game to replace Mordhau, hopefully. So look forward to that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching my tier list. See you later, gamers.